Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Let's take a quick look here at Solana, see what's going on. It's got a pretty nice little pattern here. There's still great potential to see that level of 135 to 140 here soon. Nice higher highs, higher lows. I'm just a little concerned with, just say Bitcoin were to pull back a little bit. We got this bearish type of flag pattern here that typically breaks to the downside after channeling out. So just be mindful that this doesn't mean it's going to happen, but there are still a lot of bearish type of divergences on medium to larger time frames. So we don't want to be blindly bullish just because we have a nice green open to the market or a green day. Technically today it opened pretty poor there based on CPI data, pulling Bitcoin back from that 84,000 to low 81s. So again, there's that. I do personally feel like Bitcoin is in a channel, a type of bullish structure. So there's a decent chance we do see Bitcoin retest that 84,000 mark. If that happens, Solana should continue to the 135 to 140s. Just know there's a lot of resistance in that range. Before we get started, hit the like button, folks. Don't forget to do that. We get like, 50 likes on a video that gets 1,000 views. I mean, we can do better than that. Come on, folks. Better than 5%. That's what we're shooting for. Anyways, let's take a quick look at the liquidation delta here in a minute. First of all, liquidation ranges, essentially, we can see there is accumulation between 140 and 143. It's pretty standard, just above a local high. And then we see this local high here, the more local one, the closer one effectively, at 131, just got swept there briefly. The price wicked up to that exact same level and pulled back. So we're starting to see resistance at 130/131. When we look at the macro though, there's a pretty significant, there's about $1 billion of liquidation at 132. So a quick wick up to that 132 would make perfect sense, or it continues to push towards 140. All that being said, liquidation delta is getting closer to break even. This is telling us there's a shift in momentum occurring. It's not official. Bitcoin is showing a much better structure than Solana, but the truth is here, we got that significant 131 range where you see just 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts to break through that level that hasn't yet. Good news is we have higher highs and higher lows leading into it, so there's a decent chance we break, but we're going to need to make sure that the volume stays high and consistent in order for that to occur, right? Because low volume just kind of doesn't help much at all. We can see here, of course, as per usual, late longs at 129. They're now underwater, but anyone who got in previous to that with open interest at 115 to 120, based on, well, not my recommendation specifically, but I loved getting filled to that 113 mark, that previous high for this coin. Essentially, that dollar cost average target I recommended in my videos there. So what I'm getting at here is anyone who got in between 113 and 120, there's a decent amount of support there based on open interest, and that's a good sign. Generally implies favorability or sustainability in that lower price range. So let's take a quick look here at the daily, see what's going on. First things first, we look at the moving averages and just recognize that we're still in a descending trend. Big surprise, folks. This is commonplace for literally every single coin in the market right now. There's no higher highs being established yet, so honestly, taking longs from a macro perspective is a bad idea. But from a smaller time frame, just say hourly to 4 hour, we might find some benefit there. And that's essentially the kind of trade that I'm looking at for Bitcoin. We're in the long right now at 81,800 with take profit targets just below 84,000. And we plan to short 84 to 86K range. That if you take that same mindset and apply that here, hypothetically, you could take a long to the 135 to 140 and then effectively short that 140 range. Okay, so that's just kind of the general concept. But the overall scenario here is that we're below all moving averages. There's zero reasons from a macro perspective to take a long to the so-called metaphorical moon. Okay, now I know a lot of people are like, I'm going to take a high leverage long and just FOMO in or YOLO, right? Well, truth is, YOLO only works so much. And it's a very effective getting liquidated strategy. So try not just to go balls to the wall because some other idiot online tells you they got a 50x leverage trade that's still in profit that they opened a few days ago, right? That doesn't really matter too much. What's important is to trade for yourself and make sure that when you look at these charts, you recognize that you're going against the grain if you're taking a long. Therefore, ensure you secure profits in a timely manner or don't just hold on forever, right? And I'm not talking about a spot bag. That's a different story altogether. I'm talking about any form of leverage that includes fees because you're charged literally every 6 to 8 hours on leverage fees based on how long you hold them. The longer you hold them, the more you're going to lose, okay? That's just kind of how it works. 4 hour time frame, still under 50 on the RSI, generally a favorable sign. We are above the SMA on the RSI, which is good kind of an early trend setter, letting us know we're tentatively back on track. We got the MACD converging as well, with money flow index about above 30, but the MFI is not above the RSI. Generally, that's not a phenomenal sign. And with our SMAs, we're testing the 20-day SMA right now and basically still getting rejected. So from a smaller time frame perspective, we're really not looking all that good. Okay, you can kind of see this trend line here. We're kind of stuck on stupid is the best way to describe it. Now, this coin can break intelligent. Is that the opposite of stuck on stupid? It can break out, right? But the truth is we cannot presume that will happen until we get above our local high. And our local high here is about 130. What do you know? That area of confluence of resistance. So the easy way to understand it here is if you insist on a long, secure profits between 130 and 135, just to be safe. But if you're going to hold on a little bit longer, an important area would be this resistance range here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove this. I'll update our playout chart and post that on our Twitter, Telegram, Discord so you can see it. But 4-hour time frame still not looking great either. Okay, we got a lot of little things that need to happen that haven't yet. And even with the Bitcoin breakout, I still don't feel very confident recommending a long based on this type of pattern that we're seeing here, which I want to emphasize, you don't trade on patterns alone, right? But if you have a bearish type of pattern that has confluence with the overall trend in the market, then you're going to be in a situation where, hey, what do you know? The odds of success are higher for this to break out, or in this case, rather, break down. That's how bear flags are formed. They break down continuously. Okay. Now, it's not to say the price is going to go to the ground. It could very well just break its structure and come down a little lower. That's not that big of a deal, but just know that that's present here at this point. But if we look at Ichimoku cloud, we are above the cloud. We have some constellation here. We're above some moving averages on the smaller time frame. So a simple way to understand it is that on the hourly, we're showing good convergence and good potential for continuation higher. From a 4-hour to a macro perspective, it's looking pretty terrible, and we don't have any confirming factors yet. A lot of resistance above us and not a ton of support outside of open interest below us. So you put all that together and it increases the odds of success, considering the trade's going to go down and up. But it may be advantageous to wait for Bitcoin to retest 84 to 86K first, sweep that CME gap, that upper liquidation range, and then when it pulls back at that point, maybe consider shorting Solana. Between now and then, it's generally just a mixed bag, and oftentimes when you have a lot of indecision, so to speak, in either direction, it's not recommended to take a trade. So those are my 2 cents. I hope that makes sense to you. Pun intended there. If you want to join us over on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, feel free to do so. Our Premium Plus bot is killing it, by the way. Fantastic passive income for our community members. It is actually up to 656 at this point. This is not phenomenal profit, by the way, folks. You can roll your eyes all you want, but this is $50 per trade, minimal risk, $1,000 portfolio, and then we're almost doubling the portfolio size, or at least we're 66% of the way there, 65% of the way there, based on a month and a half. That's not bad at all. Anyways, cool stuff. Check it out. If you have any questions, concerns, reach out. Feel free. Link down below for all that information. I look forward to working with you, though. Thanks again for always liking the videos, and we'll see you in the next one, okay? Thanks again. Take care. Bye-bye.